like fashion market in Korea is big, right? We have one of the biggest fashion hubs called Dongdaemun in Seoul.
Mhm.
And that market is completely disconnected. Like all these, like you're gonna think I will love to have like a supply chain expert, like a guru in
Mhm.
supply chain to come to Korea and try to
Mhm.
like connect all the dots because
Mhm.
it's so fragmented. And the minute we start connecting the different steps of that market, we're gonna have like booms, like we're gonna have unicorns every step that we connect. So if we're
Hi everyone, this is the Peking University HSBC Business School Entrepreneurship Society. Today we have Miss MinChi Park from 500 Global joining us for this session. So to start off, Miss Park, may I ask you to introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi everyone, this is MinChi talking. So I'm part of the 500 Global Korea Fund. So we are right now, I'm operating for the Korea Fund, meaning we invest in early stage founders that are Koreans, co-founded by Koreans, or are domiciled in Korean ecosystem. As you might know or might not know, 500 Global is a pretty global early stage VC.
Yeah.
We invested in like almost like 2,800 early stage startups, couple of very proud unicorns, centaurs. Hopefully, we will get our next unicorns in the Korean market. I'm an industry agnostic VC, meaning I don't have a specific industry that I only double down in. I would love to see more like interesting startups like booming in this ecosystem. So yeah, if you have any questions regarding the Korean ecosystem, I'm here for any questions.
Thank you so much for your introduction. So my next question is, what is one major gap that you think startups can target today?
Um, so I think it really matters like where they're playing, the market that they're playing, right? One area that I've been emphasizing so many times to Korean founders is we're not seeing a lot of B2B startups in the Korean
Mm.
market. Especially like I love to see more B2B SaaS oriented startups because whenever we talk about hyper growth and scalability, I think founders like lose that track where like, yeah, total addressable market matters, but do you know which game you're playing, right? And the minutes they start crunching the numbers with that variable in hand, they realize that the total addressable market that they initially thought was actually not the town, right? So I like startups that the minute they have an MVP, they can start testing with different markets. I have a lot of Korean founders that have this prejudice where, yeah, let's get the Korean market first and then expand to Japan, to China, to Southeast Asia, and maybe United States. But I mean, like markets are growing so fast, they're changing so fast. And maybe it's like way too late for you to test in 2, 3 years. So if you have that idea in mind, you're gonna realize that you need to have products that can be easily translated to different markets.
Mhm.
And it's a problem that is prevalent in all corners of the world. And I think B2B SaaS is something that we need to fill the gap, right? I think it's a huge demand by VCs in Europe, in the States, but especially in Asia, I would love to see more B2B SaaS startups.
Mm. I see. Thank you so much for sharing those details. May I ask, is there a particular area of B2B solution that you're very excited about?
Excited. So recently we invested 500 Global Korea. We invested in a prop tech that is a
Mm.
B2B and SaaS. So it crossed off two my points of my checklist. Very exciting because we also focus in industries that are completely conventional, traditional, where you might not think there's going to be innovation. And one of the industries that we've been trying to find deals was the construction industry, right? The construction industry is such a traditional industry. I think their market size, I can't even calculate their market size because it's like in the trillions.
Yeah.
Um, um, but then everyone has like whenever we're like looking for deals and that sort of it's like, oh no, like these like construction companies will
Mm.
never be open for innovation. Even if
Mm.
there's a SaaS, these people will never use it. These are like engineers that work in the fields. They will not use like new
Mm.
technology, right? But what was interesting was this startup was founded by an ex this person who comes from like a 10+ year career in an actual construction company in Korea. So he knew the ins and outs. His father was also part of this industry. His grandfather was also part of the industry. So we knew that he understood the core problem of it, and he made the product so it's like friendly to these construction companies. And obviously, like there are still hurdles, and there are still problems that he needs to figure out. But the minute he finds PMF, it's going to be super exciting because this is a problem not only prevalent in Korea, it's prevalent in the whole entire construction industry, right? It's a product that connects general contractors with specialty contractors. And I mean that concept itself is not only a Korean thing; it's prevalent all around the world. So excited about the deal. But if you ask me like what other B2B SaaS startups can rise, wow, there's like so many, right? Like today in the morning, I was talking with another VC in Korea, and we were like saying that, you know, like fashion market in Korea is big, right? We have one of the biggest fashion hubs called Dongdaemun in Seoul. And that market is completely disconnected. Like all these, like you're gonna think, I will love to have like a supply chain expert, like a guru in supply chain, to come to Korea and try to like connect all the dots, because it's so fragmented. And the minute we start connecting the different steps of that market, we're gonna have like booms, like we're gonna have unicorns every step that we connect. So if we're able to hack the inside of that market, for example, that will be very interesting, right? And the whole supply chain of how clothes are made, like how are we going to reach from B2B to C, all those kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, B2B SaaS is like an area I've been looking a lot.
I see. Yeah, thank you so much. It certainly sounds like an amazing time to be a VC in Korea. And I think just now you touched a little bit on it. So one characteristic that you see in successful founders is that, you know, they understand the industry. So may I ask, what are the common characteristics that you see in these startups that succeed?
I mean, like our funds, we're like just crossing our fingers that we're gonna have our next unicorns being born from our fund. But if whenever we look at founders, we try to like fix them into like fit them into our ideal like founder avatar, right? Because just like startups have their ideal customer profile or their avatars, we also have an avatar for founders we want to invest, right? I think if you think about a venture, it's a very long run. It's a marathon, and VCs also need to run the long run, but founders also need to like run marathons. And a lot of the qualities that we want to see is how patient they are. Are they people that don't lose their shit? You know, I have a lot of people that say, "Oh, we ran out of money. That's why our business didn't go well." But if you look at it from the long run, and if you look at all these data points, you're gonna see that a lot of the founders fail because it's internal issues. They were not patient with their co-founders. They were not able to figure out a lot of like people related problems, just because they were losing hope, they were losing passion. So money, they try to like package it and say that their business didn't result well just because of capital and stuff. But I think there's so much beyond capital, and founders that understand that in the long run will be like the ideal type that we want to find. Again, like that said, I also want to see founders that are very coachable. Are they open mind? I mean, like the construction, that founder that comes from a construction background, if it was a founder that was super headstrong and he came to all these IR meetings, and whenever I interacted with him, he's like, hey, I know this is just way better than you, so just listen, just give me capital, I would have never invested in that person, right? But then the reason why our fund decided to invest in this person was because he was so open-minded. He understood the fact that, yeah, he understood the construction market, but he also needs outside guidance how to hack this problem in a very startup way, which is something that he doesn't have experience of. He was a first-time founder. So that would be great coming from a founder. Also, like, you know, I think it's a very Asian thing that the CEO says something and everyone, all the employees just like follow him. Does he have someone challenging him internally? Does he have a discussion partner? because if everyone comes from a very collectivistic mindset, and the CEO says like let's go this way, and it's actually like the brink of a cliff, that will stop, right? So, yeah, I think obviously all VCs will tell you like we want smart founders, we want people that are strategic, someone that can think the big picture but also can't miss the details. These are like all common base grounds, but the very specific things that I try to look at are very human related, personality related, which is something that, to be honest, can be taught and can't be taught. So we need to really get to know our founders before we decide to do the investment.
I see. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think it's a very overlooked point, social skills, like being patient, being coachable, and having a team that challenges you. I think it must be quite challenging for startups because on one hand you need to grow quickly, on the other hand you need to be patient. On one hand, they want to create something new, but also need to be coachable. And you want your team to move fast, but at the same time, you don't want your team to say okay to everything. So, yeah, it certainly sounds like a challenging role.
I have the utmost respect for every single founder out there, because the more I meet founders every single day, it amazes me how much grit they have. And I'm like, I would have never done that decision. Like, it's crazy how much risk they're taking. I thought I was a risk taker by nature. Then whenever I meet a founder, I'm like, oh no, like I humble down a lot the more I meet my founders. So like super respect, like all my respect to all these founders. And I'm here to help them because obviously they have areas that they're missing, or maybe they've never thought. I want to become their discussion partner as their investor. So I think that's the 500 way of investing.
Yeah, I think certainly 500 Global sounds like a VC that is actually respectful of the investee company. So I think that is a fantastic quality to have. So thank you so much, Ms. Park, for sharing your insights, and we look forward to the next time we can see you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.